That's just the thing, man. When, like, some may see, like, just at my story, as far as the persecution is concerned, they may see things for what they've been able to perceive recently. It's true enough, the past 7 years been rough for my life. But what they don't understand is that this is the last 7 years is not the fullness of the situation. It's been rough the whole time. That's what I was able to catch, and had a platform. But you don't understand, the nature of the whole situation was way longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing been eating away at my life over 20 years, and I'm 25, so you go figure. So that's been the situation, and now they seen God manifest his presence on my life almost every, just regularly. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's to a point where God's glory is no longer hidden by the Antichrist. And God's glory and can be glorified, and his light can be seen. So for that reason, I'm excited. But as far as like, God is not, like, as far as restoration goes, God was able to accomplish that in a different way. I'm not saying that just because his original, concept wasn't, like, society defiled that didn't mean he didn't rework it, because he did it again. Like, just like when sin first entered the garden, God's first plan for humanity had nothing to do with, toil and work and thing. After sin came, he's changed it all up, but it's still a win-win, for those that love him. So with the same situation, God, he was able to rework it for the good of those that love him. So people still got saved, their souls still got saved, to the light and everything. So it wasn't just an utter loss, the whole situation. So for that, it's all right, I wasn't really worried about things being that, and that's something, it's a couple things actually I want to touch on, man. I might be a little all over, but also I want to touch on this concept of, because antagonism, it's crazy. This is gonna be a quick insight on it, but yeah, this antagonism is weird, because me knowing that I'm the victim of these things, of evils and things, and it's almost like, well, certain people put themselves in certain positions with, the choices they made and decisions they made. So I'm a victim. Regardless of what the resolution or the solution is, rationally, logically, and understandably, it don't, the victim of it shouldn't be further persecuted for witnessing, what happened to them in their life. That's what it is. Like, they try to, like, further degrade your life or keep you. These things I just spoke on recently, is just the general concept that still exists. Okay. Also want to talk about Victorious, man. In the event that, Victorious was actually a lot, man. It accomplished a whole lot of purposes. But all those purposes were for good, though. And, for the restoration of my own platform, as far as, the restoration that's, like, clearing away character assassination, slander, defamation, things that's untrue, falsehoods, when it comes to certain things. Regardless, I pretty much, like I spoke briefly in a recent recording, like the platform. Yeah, man, I pretty much just, it's a representation of reality. And so another thing that's a representation of reality is if in the event that, in the event that Victorious was tampered with, because that in itself proves a whole lot, so it's a loaded situation, but that's the way it's supposed to be, because then what that does is show the world, how things really are. If you look at it, if you step back and look at everything, you'll see what Victorious is. You'll see, why I've been having to fight, unrelated to Victorious. I've been having to fight for my legacy, my, my work and stuff, life, everything, my art contribution, it shows like persecutors that pretty much hang themselves by putting themselves in certain positions. Then it shows the reality at hand. It shows exactly what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with the country right there. Victorious. Okay, they knew what that was. I explained to them everything, when I first put the idea out. Okay, they know in detail. So imagine after that, they know what victorious stand for. Somebody victorious. Then imagine if somebody tamper with that victory. That sound familiar? And what do they use the victory for? That whatever they tamper or took from it, what they use it for? Themselves. So in other words, what are they saying? That they own that piece that they took, which was not theirs in the first place. Boom. See? That's, in a couple months, encapsulated the whole history of what this society has been all about. If that's been allowed, then that's the confirmation. If that was allowed by, for any reason, whatever reason, that's the confirmation. And then you see that concept constantly being built on throughout the years, through cycles and cycles of eons. And I mean, I'm not responsible. And, of course, another thing I want to touch on, I'm not responsible for somebody's slander. You know what I'm saying? The slanderous things that put together. I'm not obligated to just incorporate that into my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not obligated to build my life around slanders and things that was already known by the world to be slanders, shortly after they were uttered or before they was uttered. You know what I'm saying? I'm not at liberty to compromise the truth and reality and, leave reality and live in these underneath the shadows of, evil beings and entities and stuff that have wishes, of being greater than God, like Satan did. You know what I mean? That's where we can't never vibe like that. And so, when it comes to Victorious, in the event that Victorious was tampered with, or somebody just, for some reason trying to devalue, take away from the concept. I mean, it's different. Intent is everything. Intent is the defining factor of everything. But in that event, then, I mean, pretty much, if it was used, from a position of, antagonistic glory, if you will, quote unquote, then that automatically stamps a big fat L, across that person's whole legacy, because they fell right into the trap, and they just showing themselves to be fraudulent. And so that's why, a lot of stuff going on in society, man, because a lot of people got exposed. And I mean, that ain't saying that, that's not the only person, that's not the only entity being the only type of situation where that would be obvious or evident. It just manifests clearly. And so, yeah, man, they have to understand, man, that this situation ain't just begin, man. It's been happening for the over, 20 years of my life already. I've been under this, this heavy demon persecution campaign with racial origins and stuff like that, things I couldn't control, and that's been preying on my life simultaneous the whole time. It's just the last 7 years of my life to where I was able to discern readily and, learn and have a platform to be able to express about it. That's all that they've witnessed, and then even more so in the last couple years. So it's been like an ever-present situation, and it's a proven crime situation. So it exists, and it's happening, and it's real, but as far as resolutions for it, yet to be determined. Some say it's over, some say the campaign over, but I don't believe that, because they still doing this concept of one. I mean, I talk to people about this philosophy that they have, that the supremacy or whatever, the Antichrist legions, cults, influences that ban the entities, Baphomet, whatever, they have this concept of this one more time thing. I call it, it's a philosophy that they have in their mind, and they always wait one more time. They always wait till one more thing is did, before they do anything about anything. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't just like in terms of like uniform, nothing like that. I'm just saying like society as a whole, because, society came together and united to prevent God from restoring it. You know what I'm saying? Single-handedly. And they seen that, they did that, they put in for the last 20 years, but I mean, even more so the last 7 years, you know what I'm saying, alone. You know what I'm saying? They came together, united to destroy God. So I'm like, why can't they unite to protect his child? You know what I'm saying? That's how God look at it. So I mean, in the event where because God showed them so they won't have, so it ain't no more mistakes. So they understand clearly. He showed them, he been showing them consistently, man. Especially every month for the last whole year. You know what I'm saying? But like amnesia always creeps into everybody's mind until, that one more evil is dead. And that's the one more time philosophy. Like it's constantly been like that. And they're constantly, doing like allowing this one more thing to happen before, they acknowledge the reality at hand. The reality that they doing this to God, they blessed with the Holy Spirit, and they doing it to Christ Jesus. And when they do realize that what they're doing is demon and sick, then they try to exile the child of God, which put them further under, put them further away from God as a whole, because, together it stand, divided it ain't, and it stand together. And, a kingdom divided can't stand. So, that's how they know I'm not of Satan, because I'm against what happened to me. I'm not with it. I will be a fool, No, because that stopped the glory of God. That's what all this was. On spiritual level, it was a satanic attack. On physical level, it was lust for mammon, pride, all these types of things, conceit, clout, things that's synonymous with, the kingdom of hell, darkness, which is, condemned and doomed forevermore. It's the worst thing that ever be in. Hell is, and that's the destination of a whole, of whoever was, responsible for these things. And I witnessed quite a bit, but it's like I already had done showed the world, So it's like everybody that need to know or should have known, to do something about it, they already had been informed, as early as 3 years ago already. So just imagine everything that happened since then. I personally made sure, in 2017 and all that. Because, for one, they know that I wasn't up. I was already rejected from the coaching sense. I was rejected from that idea, those concepts and things after things that happened years before that, like 3 years before 2017 and all that, So it's been an ongoing situation. So society knew what I stood for, what I represented. They knew I wasn't of the world, but I was standing for God, with God, and of God. Therefore, I live by the things that the Bible, pretty much embraced, not the things that society embraced, but they knew that, and they continue with the things, much like they keep doing this one more time thing now. And then, you understand, you get a vastness of it when you realize, how much circumstances have changed since then. You get a understanding of the vastness of the massive demon campaign. I never had any kind of notification of it. I found out the hard way by what was happening to me. Nobody ever pulled me to the side, told me anything. They'll just tell me things like, here and there I had, when the darkest moments, like it'd be some, because it's like, it's really in a situation like that, it's like, it's nobody that's, almost everything that you run into is a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like in those darker times, that's what it was. So it's like, people could tell you anything from anywhere. And, some would tell me that I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. Then some be talking to each other about my personal life. It's a whole lot of things that happen. Just straight evil, man. Straight evil. Like out the pits of hell. And, I witnessed some leading figures and stuff that was involved. And it's like, well, society has its favorites. They don't, for one, obviously they don't care about God or under God, or else this would have never happened to a child after they been known that, God was upon my life for years. You know what I'm saying? Not just the past 7 years, but years before, even before I knew that, this deal, this much, attention, antagonism was on my life, because nobody ever, put me up on. And so, man, that's the situation, man. And so, these, these same influences, man, they stalk me. But see, that's what people don't understand. Like, it ain't just like, and that's why, that's why I started this recording like I did, because they don't understand that it's not just a new situation. It's like, it would be different if it just had started now. You know what I'm saying? Because if it had just started now, then, I wouldn't even be in this position. I would have already been, in my destiny. You know what I'm saying? I would have already been, in way better position, to be able to embrace my art and everything and passion. But that's the thing. It didn't just start now. You know what I'm saying? But you could go figure, you could do the math. It was already, for like over 20 years, it's already been on my life. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm not even that old. You feel me? And so the last 7 years is overshadowed by everything else. You know what I'm saying? That was already happening simultaneously. So it's not a new situation. So you can go figure. It was happening back then. So just think of, think about it. Think about it. Like it's not a new situation. It had started already like over 20 years ago. And then the last 7 years, including this year, it just overshadowed, that 20 years overshadowed everything, all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same situation, the same thing. So you can go figure, man. It's the same evil, same demons, same Antichrist, covetous, thieving. And then that's another reason why they was stealing things from me. They was lying on me. They was slandering me because, that'll keep them from having to pay me for the bits and pieces that they was taking from me. So it's one of the most heinous things. Like, they wanted to keep me in a position where I could still express, but I was like a continual source, like you know what I'm saying, like a cow. You feel me? Like, they could just milk me anytime. They could come see when I think of something good. Then, they could sneak it into their stuff here and there and all that without my consent or whether or not I wanted it. So, I mean, it's one of the things, but the person who get the worst judgment is the person, whoever God had, revealed these things to, like early on, he revealed, because there's certain people that he felt like would protect me, from things like this early on. But it turns out some was, I don't know if they weren't able to, maybe they were overpowered, or but for some reason they did not, they did not work. I mean, I got the full force of these evils, and they pretty much a lot of the campaigns and stuff ossified around my name, around my legacy, and things, that was totally not true, false, and easily disproved hundreds of times. Every time get ignored, and they do this one more time philosophy, so they be able to continuously lie on me to take my stuff. And it's a supremacist, and it's crazy because some people just sold out, so it don't matter what color they was. You know what I'm saying? They just sold out. They the devil got they soul. So they don't, they do, anything to God. You know what I'm saying? They hellbound. So they involved in it too. But either way, regardless of their religious belief, if they believe it's Satan or not, if this is supposed to be a free country, then they should still be checked. You feel me? By some kind of structure or some kind of order or something, like, because they, somebody shouldn't be discriminated on basis of their religion. I'm a Christian. My argument is that's why they're attacking me. They Antichrist, which, supports my argument. They Satanists, which supports my argument. You know what I'm saying? By their actions and their word and their deeds, which proves it. So, that's my case. So I'm being discriminated by the, higher society, on the basis of, not just my religion, but also I'm just extraordinarily talented, and so they trying to take away my expression so other people can, march off it and, make money at my expense off of my stuff. That's why antagonism rested on me, though they, they already provenly, guilty of these things, but, not in any kind of way being, held accountable for it after, all this time. The last 7 years, not to mention the whole last 20 years, it already happened. It's a horrific situation, but it shows you what's Babylon, what's Antichrist, and then it shows you what the revelation means. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who didn't know, it's all evident, and it's not go get any better. Definitely can't now, God's plan for restoration, was defiled, destroyed, killed, eating, whatever. But in the end, they'll realize the devil, which is the dragon, the Antichrist, the demon, the beast from hell, all that, the cults, satanic cults. They had eating purposes of God, but they don't understand that the light is the only thing that really exists. So they're just shadows. You know what I'm saying? So there's no substance to the kingdom of darkness, only the illusion that is there. You feel me? So whatever they eating, it's just like a fantasy. It's like a fiction. It's not reality. The light exists, you know what I'm saying? Just like a stone wall, you could touch that, The darkness is just what it is, darkness. It's the illusion of substance, Dark looks solid when there ain't no light around. You feel me? It looks solid when there ain't no light around. Cut a light on, is no darkness. That's the situation. The kingdom of darkness is not substantial at all in the first place. There's no substance to it. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, anything or any action taken against the light on false pretense or falsely, you know what I'm saying, is not substantial. And the only reason that they appear, you know what I'm saying, to swell up or to be anything, you know, is because they, you know, like the brainwash. I mean, you know, the world love its own, man. You know what I'm saying? Whoever do evil, hate light. And so, you know, the world love its own. It joins to itself. Darkness stick with darkness. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the reason. You know, whatever hellbound, you know, broad is the way. But narrow, broad is the path to hell and destruction. But narrow is the way to the light of righteousness. Because it's way more, you know what I'm saying, that's you know, that condone that kind of stuff against God. Because regardless of what, you know, any mockeries, clones, or whatever, you know, that's you know what I'm saying, that's imitating the goodness or the glory or the ideas and plans of, you know, of God, ideas from heaven and stuff like that. Whoever, you know, that pretty much, you know, tediously just study and stalk somebody forever, you know what I'm saying, just to be able to assimilate parts or pieces of their personality into their character and stuff like that, which has been happening to me for over 20 years. I mean, that's still, at the end of the day, that's still not reality. You know what I'm saying? That's not the original. You feel me? So it don't really matter. And if it's attacking the original, then that in itself is self destruction. You feel me? That's like dismissing themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's like to own yourself, you know. Because then they make it manifest that that's the reason why they're attacking. So, I mean, it's deep, man, because there ain't no other reason why. Because I really don't know influential figures, you know what I'm saying, from a stone in the road, you feel me? That you know, that responsible for all this, but that's how it was, man. And this is the position they put me into, you know, by attacking my babies, you know. My artists, my babies, you know. I mean, for me personally, but it's no secret now that everybody see that, you know, I'm God's child anyway. You know, they just seen for the past year alone, man, they've been watching the miracles and everything. They see my talent, they see all of this. You know, I wasn't on the same wavelength, man. It just persecutors had to reach for that, man. But I mean, they ate the wrong thing though, man. You know, because I guarantee you, you know, I think arts and crafts, man. And then, you know, we won't be long, you probably hear that in somebody's stuff. And nobody don't call them on it. You know what I'm saying? Same situation. I'm not a biter though, man. I'm original. You feel me? So that's why I can't, you know, fit in like that. Because, you know, I like my own stuff. And then my stuff getting eaten and people pretty much cool with it. Then, I have what? The audience is only the light. But it's more darkness in the world. I'm more going to hell than to heaven. You know, so it's going to seem like evil wins. It's only illusion, you feel me? So yeah, man, the situation ain't new, man. It's been going on for a while. The situation is not new. You know, and I don't get any pleasure from, you know, illuminating other than that God be glorified in what I've been through. But situation messed up though, you know. But artistically, man, I'm so, you know, inspired. And I'm inspired by the light, you know, by God, like I always have been. You know. Yeah, I know this said, man, here kind of messy, but I wanted to. It's a lot of different subjects that I wanted to touch on because I received different impositions that, you know, demanded my attention. So I needed to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? As to how the light fortress is under attack. Anybody who been follow my stuff know my light fortress is pretty much correspondence to the light, love, Lord, just good things, you know, and the righteous causes. The devil is not gonna be for the righteous causes. You know what I'm saying? That's just common sense. And it's Antichrist. And everybody that don't do anything about it, they can, is also Antichrist. You know, situation, man, that's the worst thing you could ever be though. People wonder why, you know, I'm using that's like, you know, that's the spiritual equivalent of what is something especially despised by society. You know, terms, stigmas, taboos, and things, just the worst of the worst. That'll be the equivalent, you know, of that, but spiritually. So call it, so for saying something is Antichrist is equally the calling something that, you know what I'm saying, of those things, those words and stigmas and stuff that's especially heinous. You know what I'm saying? That's what's the same thing. And society is Antichrist. You know, it does not have God or the Son, you know, because of what is willfully been doing to the Lord, you know, with the knowledge for years, year after 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 year, where God is right there year after year after year after year after year, telling them that this is his year after year after year after year after year after year. And they sit there and they continue year after year after year after year after year after year, you know, for no reason, like without cause, just because selfish ambitions, you know. So God has left that land, you know. It's still born again believers, you know, but it's not a place of God, you know. And so, yeah, that's the situation, man. Like, but yeah, those that, you know, that was just so inclined to my body of work, man, everything I do, you know, trying to get in where they fit in, lying on me in order to infiltrate my camp. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They lie on you to infiltrate, you know, and then they chalk it up. That's fake. That's real fake. You know, that's not authentic. But then they'll chalk it up to something like, it's just a cult. You know what I'm saying? So then because it's a cult, it's supposed to be accepted because people scared of, you know, the devil's cult. Well, I mean, that's not fair. That's not fair. I mean, it's not real, you know. That's the way, you know, it goes. I know my God is greater though, man. My God is greater than anything in the earth. You know what I'm saying? So I fear no evil. And I know that this is dead wrong what's happened. And so I speak it and I, you know, address it as such. It's evil. My faith still in God though. Yeah. But it's not a new situation, and that's what, you know, I'm trying to get across. You know, like it is not just like some random influence just randomly decided to attack me because I did something or I said something. Like, nah, that would make sense if it was a new situation, yeah. Well, this been going on for over 20 years already. You know what I'm saying? So just think, you know what I mean? You can pretty much do the math, you know. It's massive hate, you know, evil. Some thought they saw a money pot, man. And that's how people saw me, you know. Saw God. That's how they saw the Lord's work and things after he showed them. You know, like, forget it. You know, chose silver and gold was more valuable than restoration of the globe, you know, and God. And when you seen single-handedly, though, what I've been going through, you know, a lot of things that's happening now, I was already going through years ago. You know, it's like, I was going through it first. You know, so I mean, it's a horrible situation though. But I'd rather people know the truth though. You know, especially about me because I was attacked in such a massive way. Then, you know, of course, I'm exposing it equally. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's only right. It's only right. You know what I mean? Because I had no idea that I was under such a massive attack like that. You know, everything about me, my character, integrity, you know, my passions, my love, my talents, everything, they've been under attack by the devil. Because the devil is working in those people to make them lie on me and stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? The devil working in these people to make them lie on me and slander me and try to, you know what I'm saying, just a sophisticated way of trying to larceny somebody's stuff, taking bits and pieces of it and make money off it. And then, you know, I never get paid for it or credit for it, you know, but they get bits and pieces in their stuff of me and part of me to boost their image up. And then threaten, extort somebody with, you know, evil, violence, or hate, you know, in order to prevent it from getting out. Like, nah, I'm good on that. I mean, if I would have known sooner, I would have exposed it sooner. It's just, you know, that's the way they do it. Like, they rig society intentionally to prevent somebody from, you know, being able to exist or live. Absolute evil, man. And to this very moment, man, they still pressed on my life, though. Like, it's crazy. And they're allowed to be there, man. Like, I don't want that, you know. I don't want the persecution. You know, this, I mean, literally, well, I mean, some don't understand, man. They've had opportunities to have peace. You know what I'm saying? Some probably been flourishing at somebody else's expense for years. You know, but I mean, me personally, like these days, pretty much the only days, you know what I'm saying, in over a decade, you know what I'm saying, in over a decade that I ever felt like, you know, like a sigh, you know what I'm saying, a sigh of relief, like just, you know, a point to be able to breathe. Yeah, this is my first time in a decade, you know what I'm saying, over a decade, you know. And before that point was since I, you know, not long after I was incarnated in the world. So my whole life I've been getting eaten and picked apart, you know what I'm saying, since I was a child. Like they have, and that's why they normalize this concept of not liking children and stuff, because what they was doing to me, they ain't wanted to make it seem like I was special, you feel me? But that really was the situation, but they don't want to make it seem like I was special, you know. So that's why they, you know, a lot of things were did to a lot of other innocent people and orchestrated to hide this real situation. So it's crazy, man. I mean, it's they doing this to God. They know 100%. God showed them 100%, so they don't have no mistakes. They know that I am of Him. I am of God, from God. No mistakes. They know 100% that that's who this is. That's who owns me, who I belong to. God Himself, the living God. He exists. He's real. He's doing stuff to let them know. So it's no mistakes, no misunderstandings. They know 100% what they're doing and who they're doing it to from this point on. And so that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? And they allow it, they're just as guilty, you know what I'm saying, of whatever happens. But yeah, it's not a new situation.